Today we find ourselves amidst the ruins of the city of Ephesus, 340 miles southwest of Istanbul. Ephesus, like Istanbul, allows cats to run free, fed by generous folks. This one is lying in the Odeon built in 150 AD that hosted musical events and city council meetings. Across the way are the ruins of the state agora where high-level authorities met. We are going to walk down this main street called Curitas Street, which is also known as the Processional Way, since the priests and priestesses of Artemis would proceed down this street toward the temple. In the distance, you can see the fertile lands leading to the Aegean. If you look closely, you can see the grand arches of the Celsus Library that we will soon see up close. Ephesus is ancient, with its origins in Neolithic times. In the Bronze Age, its people built the earliest version of the Temple of Artemis. Its Greek period in the 10th century led to the Classical period in the 6th and 5th centuries and the rebuilding of the Temple of Artemis. At this time, Ephesus was the most important city of the region after Istanbul. Its paved marble streets made known to the world its wealth. The city's Hellenistic period followed Alexander's conquest in 334, when the largest form of the Temple of Artemis was built. In the Classical Roman period, 130 BC to 400 AD, the city's population was estimated at between 35,000 to 55,000 people. It was the largest city in the region after Sardis to its east and Alexandria Troas to its north. Ephesus remained a major city through the 1st century. Earthquakes, though, were a constant danger, as were invasions. The city was destroyed by Goths in 263 AD and was largely in ruins after 400 AD. Ephesus was an important stop for St. Paul on his second missionary journey, since a thriving Christian community had grown up here. His letter to the Ephesians was probably written in the late 50s or early 60s from Rome, where he was martyred in either 62 or 64. It was probably written about the same time as the letter to the Colossians. Both were written as what scholars call circular letters, in other words, not specific to a community about specific community matters, but rather to multiple communities on broad topics of faith, love, and Jesus the Christ. In this area, we see the temple of the Emperor Hadrian with its arch, built in 129 AD, with its tall columns, rounded arch, and now missing roof. On the other side of the street, beyond the sleeping cat, and under the cover of the sheet aluminum coverings, are the extensive excavations of the hillside houses of the wealthy. Then, surprisingly close, we find the public toilets and a brothel behind them. Then the Celsus Library, named in honor of Asia's Roman governor. In the Roman period, it housed 12,000 scrolls, all destroyed by the Goths. Then, again, the houses of the wealthy. Scholars argue whether St. Paul was the primary author of Colossians and Ephesians. Some say that the themes and some vocabulary are similar to St. Paul's, yet there are enough differences in style, vocabulary, and thought to suggest authorship possibly by a companion like Titus or Silas. Acts chapter 19 recounts Paul's troubles with Demetrius the silversmith, who feared losing business in silver replicas of the Temple of Artemis if St. Paul succeeded in convincing townspeople to become Christian. The city was filled with confusion, the text says. Demetrius led a crowd to the theater to confront Paul and his Macedonian companions, Gaius and Aristarchus. And there was 2 hours of shouting. The latter ended up in the theater without Paul, since his hosts urged him not to go there. Violence was averted when the town clerk reassured everyone that Artemis remained the goddess protector of Ephesus, and he noted that the city's courts were available to Demetrius if he had a complaint about St. Paul. Now we come to the intersection of Marble Street and Harbor Street, and its theater that seats 24,000 people. It figures in St. Paul's visit to the city. What are we to make of these ruins? If we make an inventory of what we have seen, namely a sports arena, a main commercial street, houses of worship, a concert hall, government buildings, a library, a gated community for the rich, a commercial market area, a theater, and a brothel and public toilets, all built on a grand scale, then Ephesus is quite like a modern American city, except, of course, for the public toilets and the earthquakes and military invasions that have wrought havoc and destruction time and time again. We are like them, they are like us. Plus ça change, plus c'est la même chose.